in the cloud to rest in the room.
What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Podcastin with Colossal. I'm your co-host, Ari Marie, aka Baby Girl. And here's your host and the CEO of Colossal Step Entertainment, Gary Hildebrand Sr.
Yo, what up, everybody? This your boy Garrick, the host of Podcastin with Colossal and the CEO of Colossal Stepping Entertainment. Hey, man, we want to thank you all for tuning in with us on tonight. We're coming to you with a segment that's a sensitive topic that a lot of people tend to avoid. A lot of people are afraid to talk about it because they're either victims of it, they're still going through it, or they're basically going through whatever they're going through. And domestic violence is one thing that we want to know, that we want to hit on tonight. So we want to allow Ariel Marie, aka Baby Girl, to share her story about her battle with domestic violence. Like I said, we have people who are products of domestic violence. We have people who are currently going through domestic violence who are afraid to speak on it because they're still in it. We have people who are survivors of domestic violence, and we want everybody to come, to chime in. So if you want to call in and have your voice heard, it's 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. We invite you to call in and basically be able to tell your story about domestic violence. If you someone who's going through domestic violence, man, we want you to be able to tell your story. This is not just about us. We want to introduce sensitive topics into the atmosphere and allow people to be able to have their say, to be able to share their voice. We want to say thank you to Intellectual Radios for giving us this platform to be able to bring this show to you. We also want to thank the Blue Note, as well as the VFW Post in 2801 39 East St. Charles Road in Villa Park, Illinois, for allowing us to hold our events with them. We also thank Broadview Park District for their support. Because without them, Colossal wouldn't be where we are. So, man, we want to thank those people who are responsible for allowing us to come out and basically be able to share our platform and different topics. Because, like I said, we want to hit on the difficult topics that people don't want to talk about. Domestic violence being one of them. Again, for those who want to call in, the number is 708-223-8953. We invite you to come to call in, allow your voice to be heard, because there's no domestic violence is something that's very sensitive, for a lot of people, because it brings back a lot of bad memories. It brings back things that people don't even want to remember. But it's part of who you are now. It's part of what you've been through. It's part of your storm. That storm that you made it out of. And somebody may need to hear that story, because a lot of people don't want to hear what happened in somebody's life, because they think that that this is a toxic subject. It's not a toxic subject, because it's something that is a real subject that people are actually going through, and people need to understand is this: just because they're not going through it right now, doesn't mean that somebody else isn't, or somebody hasn't been through it. And somebody else needs to hear this story, because now domestic violence is really running rampant in our communities. Whether you want to believe it or not, you don't hear much about it. The only thing you hear about is the gun violence that's going on. Hear about young ladies getting shot and killed on the streets. And a lot of times that when you hear about these subjects going on, with young ladies being shot and killed on the street, it's because it's by somebody else that they've been in a relationship with. Yeah. So
there has been a lot of where women have been murdered because they have a bad breakup with a person and they don't want anymore, and the person just can't say no and let it go. And, with that being said, I'm just going to take the reins right now. Oh, we got incoming call. Hello. What do we hit?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, man, but we're gonna let baby girl go ahead and tell her story about her battle with domestic violence. And we're gonna give her the floor.
Okay, everybody. So if anybody knows I don't talk about a lot of personal stuff because it's still been kind of a battle for me. But with God and the help of my family and therapy, I'm able to heal and now voice and be the voice of for the voiceless who are victims, survivors, and people who are silenced forever, being part of this epidemic. Let me tell y'all, yes, domestic violence is not talked about enough in relationships or on the news or anything else because, the people who have been through it are scared because of people victim shaming or the other person retaliating against them for speaking out. And me personally, I've been through domestic violence most of my life. I'm going to honestly say that I have been through it most of my life. I have been through it as a child with a family member. And it was from the age of 7 until almost till my teens when I actually fought back of that person and so like that. And it was covered up by family because as family always says, family likes to sit together. We don't ever want to turn our backs on family, but that's not. But family shouldn't hurt each other or backstab each other out of spite or out of jealousy. And that's where my domestic abuse came in the household was because of a family member that was jealous of who I was to another family member that I was close to. And do I forget that person to this day? No. And I know it's wrong for me to say, but I can't forget that person right now because my heart right now is because the person hasn't had justice for what happened because I'm not the only victim of this person and our family. I've been a victim. I was one of the victims out of two others who are also family members that went through it, and it was by the hands of that same loved one. And I feel like people, domestic violence is very, 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 very real. Like you might think like, oh, it's okay. I made it out stronger. Yeah, you may have made it out stronger. Let me tell you, you may have made it out stronger, but at the same time is it still has an eternal wound and that leaves in your heart. And me, I've been through the midst of.
We have a call that
Okay,
comes
you
in.
have a call. Okay, what do we hit? What do we hit? Hello, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Tammy. I said, this is Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi there. Hi there.
Talk no, so talk. Turn your right now. Turn your no, turn your phone down because you're getting that kind of feedback on it. Tell us your story, Tammy.
Well, can you hear me?
We can
Yep,
hear you.
we can hear you.
Okay. I've been through it twice. The first time I had a shotgun pulled to me. That was due to a breakup. The second time, it was verbal. People don't understand verbal is just as bad as physical.
Very true.
So dealing with domestic violence, it changes your attitude in a lot of ways.
Yes, it does.
I was a sweetheart, believe it or not, before all of this. But when you have a person tell you, you free to go, walk out the door, but when you make a step going out the door, you have a red light on your chest.
Mm-hmm.
I had to call my father to come get me. And I think that's why I have such a tough exterior, because I've been through a lot. People don't understand when you're going through domestic violence, or you have been through, there's a lot of things you can't tolerate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, Tammy.
Mhm.
When you were when you were going through this when you went through the bout with domestic violence, how did it make you feel as a person?
As a person, I felt helpless. Helpless, worthless, useless. Everything is my fault. Maybe I can change him not to do it.
So did you, after you made it out of it, did you forgive the person, or did you still kind of hold a grudge against the person that did it to you?
I held a grudge for a long time. And when his father passed, I literally went to the funeral. Me and him had a conversation to where I did forgive him. It's not for him, it's I forgave him for me. Because if you hold on to that type of hate, they don't care. They gone about their business, and you still sitting around somewhere being hateful towards that person.
You're right. You are so right. Because the person that I talked to in my first story basically was, if God, because the only person that's protecting her is the matriarch of her family. And I said, if when that matriarch passes away, I kept telling my father that I'm going to, if I see my aunt at this person's funeral, and I told that person, if I see them, I'm going to end up doing something. But I have to remember that I can't hold on to that no more, because if I go on to life like this, I'm never going to grow.
What you do, because you said you was in therapy, talk about it and let it go.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so being a survivor of domestic violence and having a shotgun pulled on you, what can you say to other women who are currently going through to help them to come to the realization that this is not the situation that they need to be in?
First of all, they have to look at their life. If kids are involved, you literally have to think about your kids' safety. Because if you're taken away, they have that abuser has no problem hurting your kids.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to talk to other people or therapy to where they have different resources to help you get out of those situations.
Yeah. But man, we thank you for calling in, Tammy. We have
Thank
to wrap this call up,
you.
and like I said, we have more callers trying to make it in. But man, thank you for the call. All right. Yeah, thank Tammy for that,
Tammy.
for that call. But again, there are other people that who are going through this this storm right here. And what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that women go through it a lot more than men do. You don't hear about about the stories from men because men have this macho attitude where they feel as
Ego
though
trip.
where they feel like they're too macho to talk about what they've been through. Myself, I am a product of domestic violence. I've watched it happen. I've seen it happen. And now I said, man, in the middle of it, and you try to figure out, man, why do people do what they do? And it's like, and it makes you bitter.
Yes.
It makes you very bitter.
bitter.
It makes you very bitter, and it makes you start to look at stuff within yourself. And the question I have is that I know a lot of people look at, well, this person said they love me.
That's not love.
How do you equate love with someone beating on you? How do you equate love?
You don't.
With someone who's actually making you feel worthless, who makes you feel useless. How do you equate love with someone who says this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you? So how do you make it out of that situation, and instead of allowing somebody because I know there were some ladies who were put through glass tables, who've been who had fat lips and blackened eyes, and hospitalized, and almost life taken because somebody felt that this is their way of controlling them, of making them feel like, well, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you are to be seen and not heard. Because there are still men in this world who feel that way, that women are to be seen and not heard. And if you say anything against what they believe in, that they will step up and deal with you in their own type of way. And they allow these men to have control over their lives until they can actually feel like, man, what's going on here? Man, what do you do? What do you say? How do you deal with it? But we want to make sure that we know that we have another call coming in. We have another caller coming in.
Hey,
welcome to Podcastin with Colossal. You're on the air now. Who's the caller?
Hey, welcome to Podcastin with Colossal. You're on the air now. Who's the caller? What's up? It's Shy.
Could you turn your? We need
Turn
to turn
your phone down, Shy.
Turn your phone down, Shy, please.
I just did.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Hedda, what's going on? Hello, Mr. Colossal. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah. So share with us your story, Shy.
I'm gonna make mine real quick, because I know we don't really have much time. But me myself, I am a product of domestic violence, as well as watching my mom go through it for years, with different men. Watching my sisters go through it, even my brother. One of my brothers went through it because, like you said earlier, women aren't always the victim of domestic violence. Sometimes they're actually the aggressor.
Mm-hmm.
And men sometimes don't feel like they have a voice, and they're not able to really speak up about it being done to them, because automatically when it comes to like law enforcement and things of that nature, or, family members getting involved, it's always the men being looked at first as the problem. If a woman is being beat on, but the woman is not being truthful to her family members, telling her family that they're the ones being beat on when actually they're doing the beating.
Right.
So that's a common problem. And also, like I put on the live, I made the comment that there, what did I say? Going back to like speaking about children, what affects you affects your children, your body, and your mental health.
Right.
So in dealing with that, you have to know what you won't put up with. Don't allow your children to see.
Mm-hmm.
Teach your children to not go through what you went through. And then prior to that, I also said there's not enough help for those who are trying to get out of a domestic violence situation. I feel like there needs to be more, resources and more availability, because a lot of times people that deal with domestic violence are doing it because it was done to them, and they feel like they don't have another outlet. And you don't have to always be a victim of your situation. There is a way out, and my way is how I got out of it was I had to completely, totally trust God. That was the first thing. I had to trust God, and I told God, listen, I'm tired. I don't want to take myself out of here, and really do damage to those that really care about me. Because if I'm gone, I'm no good to them anyway. And then especially having children, what good am I laying in the ground when my children have only me to lean on?
Right.
So
right.
I got strong enough to finally say, okay, I've dealt with it in my family. I watched my mom go through it. I've stood in front of knives, guns, all types of stuff. I've been pushed out of a window. I've been through everything imaginable you can think of in every sort of way. And here I am, years later, out of it.
You're still here,
girl.
You are still here, and you're still beautiful.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, Shia. Shia. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm older than 35, but I'm younger than 45.
Hey, that's the blessing of life.
Enough.
That's a good answer.
Enough.
So so when you decided enough is enough, and you decided that your life is more valuable than being in this bad situation, and you said that you put your trust in God. So but when you were going through it, were you trusting God when you were going through it, or were you mad at God when you were going through it?
It was a combination of both. I was mad at God because I'm like, how could you let me go through this and you expect me to trust you to get me out of it? But he gave me the ways to get out. I just wasn't willing to use them.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
I didn't want to listen because I was familiar and I was comfortable with what was going on, because we would fight, then I love you, and we're gonna make this work, then we'd fight again, and the cycle had to be broken.
The toxicity of the whole situation
had to be broken, because like I said, once children are involved, I can handle me,
right,
but they can't, and they should not be subjected to that. So my faith got stronger, and I built a circle of people. I didn't include everybody, but I built a circle of people, one being your co-host. She's been my friend for a very long time, and we've helped each other. And that's what you really need, a good support system. Doesn't have to be many people, because not everybody belongs in your business, especially somebody that's never been through it can't tell you how to get out of it.
Right.
They can't give you pointers. They can't help you. They can't be your support group in that area. They can only be there as a comfort to listen.
Right.
But they're listening to give advice, suggestions, prayers, encouragement, but they're not listening as a way of getting understanding of how to get out of a situation they've never been in.
Right.
So, I lean on my support system. I lean on my ministry. I lean on my writing. And that's really it. So, like I said all that to wrap this up, because I don't want to be too long with it. I have a story. I'm ready to tell it. And my book will actually be coming out in the next year. So by 2024, my book will be out. I'll have a book, a CD, and a DVD. And my story you can actually read there. And when it comes out, you're going to know about it. So please do support. I just wanted to also say this to my friend before I go. Listen, friend, I love you.
I love you.
And I'm so very proud of you. Not everybody knows you. Not everybody knows what you dealt with. Not everybody understands it, but you know I do. And I am godly proud of you.
Thank you.
And
Love
I want
you.
you to keep going and remember, God got you, your family got you, your kids got you, and you know I got you. So I just wanted to say that, and I believe it's your dad, to your dad as well. You raised an amazing child.
Thank you so much.
And I'm happy to call her my friend, and I'm glad you guys are doing this because, like you said, it's not commonly talked about. But being that this is the month for, domestic violence awareness, but it's really an all year thing because it happens all year long,
Right.
Whether it's a relationship, a family ship, or any ship. Domestic violence is not commonly talked about. So I am just going to say I'm grateful and thankful that I actually did log on and be able to see this one tonight. And whoever's going through it, I just want to leave y'all with this piece of advice. Listen, get out. If you can get out, get out. And if you can't get out, call somebody to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a man, woman, boy, girl, cat, dog, fish, horse, it doesn't matter. Domestic violence is not love. And treating somebody like a piece of trash is not okay either. So whether you're the aggressor or you're facing the aggression, listen, there's always a better way. So I will leave y'all with that, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in. And if I can, maybe jump on the live a little bit later. I'll jump on Facebook and add some more commentary. So thanks for letting me call in and listening to my story.
You're welcome, Hida. Thank you. I love
Thank
you.
you, Sean. Man, thank you for the call. Look forward to talking to you soon. Alrighty. Yeah, man. But like I said, man, we thank God for the callers who are calling in for domestic violence. But again, like I said, this is a sensitive topic that a lot of people don't like talking about. Regardless of which walk of life you come from, somebody in this life is going through domestic violence.
Mm.
Somebody's either the aggressor or the one on the receiving end of the aggression.
Mm.
If you're that person, I know you think that person loves you. I know that you think that person knows what's best for you. But at the end of the day, that person is destroying you from the inside out.
Swear.
And reason why I'm saying they're destroying you from the inside out, because they're killing your self-esteem.
They're killing your soul, your mind, your heart, and like just because like the if you even get physical scars, those physical scars heal, but the internal ones stay forever. And tell you like being meant, and the last one I was in, man, I'm still going through it, even though I'm separated from this person now. I was in it for 5 years, and anybody who knows about that situation, who's close to me, knows that I'm not making none of this up. I know I didn't talk about what happened in that situation a lot because I smiled through it, or I let the world see the happy side of things. If a person, red flag number one, which is what I should have seen, what I didn't. If a person tells you that you have to do X, Y, and Z to be with that person, don't do it. It's a red flag. If a person, red flag number two, if a person gets jealous about your past history or anyone of the opposite sex or the same sex, if you are a part of the LGBT, like being friendly with you, and they tell you to exit out those people, don't be with that person. If that person starts to really you start noticing that family is turning their family against you and then making you feel isolated, like you don't have anybody, that's another red flag. Isolation is very, very hard to deal with, especially when the person is basically triggering you over and over and over again, poking the bear, and then when you snap, they turn around and get a pity party of, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim. They snapped down on me and not telling the whole truth. Let me tell y'all something. Abusers are not going to tell the truth. Y'all can lie, smile, say, "Oh, they'll never do it again. They don't mean no harm." That's BS. They mean everything they do to you. It just gets worse over time the more you deal with it. And it took me 5 years to get out because my mental was destroyed to the point it started affecting me and my children. And it's like, exactly what we have said. When it affects your children, it's best to leave it alone. And if you're a person that can't let go of that person, you are not good. There's something wrong with you. Like, if there's anything really wrong with you, like you feel like you need that control of a person, or you feel inconsistent or insecure about your own self, then that's something. Then you really need to go back and reevaluate your life and everything that you've done, and go or get some help or something, because there is no possible way that you can take control of another person because you're scared of being lonely or you're scared to lose. Can't nobody take nothing from you nothing from you that belongs to you. If that person wants to leave, let him go. Because maybe it's not meant. Maybe y'all just don't clash. Y'all don't click. At first, yeah, it's hunky dory, rainbows and sunshines. It's like the honey, and guess what? The honeymoon comes over after a while. And then my second story, my friend Holly saved me from. This was over 11 years ago, y'all. 11 years ago. I was with a certain person for a year. I was with them before, but then we split up and then we reconnected 2 years later. And they know this person has mentally lost their mind. And I think this person was going through something of their own demons. And, that person started showing me that they're very insecure. And I started noticing that my phone got destroyed. I'm gonna tell you that my clothes were bleached. That person locked me out the house every day. And it was gaslighting all the time, saying, "You made me do this. You made me do that." I was almost murdered by this certain person. Murdered because I tried to break up with this person. I have a scar on my leg. On my leg, ladies and gentlemen, from somebody hitting me, trying to take my life because they didn't want me to leave. And when this person's friend moved in with us, because that person would say, "Oh, Ariel's the problem. Ariel's doing this. Ariel's doing that." When the person moved in, they started noticing I wasn't the problem. I was the person that was the victim. And one day when we went out to wash clothes with her grandfather, and me and her are best friends to this day. And I love you, Holly. I love you. I'll always thank you for saving my life. That, she told me, like, get out. This is your chance. She gave me some money and told me never to return. And I didn't. Like, if somebody gives you an open door to leave the situation, men and women, or young girls or young boys going through this, get out. Take the door. Take that opportunity. And even if you have to, leave in the middle of the night to escape that person, do it. It's best to leave and keep your mental insanity in check. Because the longer you stay, the longer you're going to be destroyed. You're going to take it out on the next person you want to be in a relationship with. And if you ever do get out of that situation, do not get into any other relationships after that for a long while. Do not do it. Please get some help. Seek therapy. Seek God, or whatever your outlet is. Find you again. Learn who you are. Learn to love you. Yes, you can be like, "Oh, I can't forgive that person and this and that." Guess what? Forgiveness ain't for, like Tammy said earlier. Forgiveness ain't for them. It's for you. Because if you don't forgive yourself, then you can't go on. Self-love is always important, y'all. Self-love is very important. Don't let nobody tell you that you are nothing. You are worthless. You're not be meant to do anything. That is not true. You know what you are and what you are not.
So let me say this, ladies and gents. Again, domestic violence is a real situation. domestic violence is a topic that needs to be had, uh, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you come from. Um, but once you get out of it, you have to learn how to forgive that person, not for them, but for you. Hating that person is like drinking poison and expecting that person to die. I say that because you're hating that person, and the only thing you're doing is poisoning yourself. You're poisoning your heart. You're poisoning your mind. You're poisoning your spirit, because I've always heard people say that love hurts.
Love do not hurt.
Love doesn't hurt. Hurt people
Hurt people.
I'm going to say this one more time. Hurt people hurt people. And everybody starts becoming vindictive in a way. Whereas that they know their mind is that I'm going to get that person before they get me. You know, or you feel like, what if this person is cheating on me? And what if the person's not cheating on you and the person just wants to love you unconditionally? But the thing is that you're pushing that person to a point where is that they don't want to be with you because of your past situations. Once you're out of a bad situation, God would introduce you into a better situation that would actually show you that somebody can love you in spite of you. I'm going to say that one more time. God will show you that people can love you in spite of you. Now, Garrick, how can you sit there and say that? Well, I'm going to tell you why I said it. Regardless of what you've been through, regardless of how bitter you are, regardless of how heartbroken you are, there's always somebody that wants to help you unpack that baggage. Because you carry that baggage with you all through life. But what if you meet a person who's strong enough to help you unpack that baggage and to unload that baggage and get rid of a lot of the stuff from your past that you're carrying into your future or into your present? Because once you actually take that into your present situation, it becomes a toxic situation because you don't know how to let go of what happened in your past. Everybody's not out to get you. Let me say that first and foremost. Everybody's not out to get you. But we understand a person verbally abused you. A person physically abused you. A person emotionally abused you. And you start thinking that everybody else is the same way. And really, honestly and truly, they're not out to get you. They're out to try to love you and try to get you through whatever you're going through. But yeah, there are some red flags that you have to be aware of. Because if you start recognizing patterns that are similar to what you came out of, if you start recognizing patterns out of what you just came out of, that's a red flag. That there is a red flag. You cannot continue to hold on to certain situations because you look at people in another light. Some people just want to love you through it. But if you find a person who's just trying to control you for the sake of controlling you or telling you that you cannot handle it on your own, certain things maybe you cannot handle on your own because maybe some things that you cannot go through by yourself. People have to understand life is too short. Domestic violence. My wife Alice, who's watching, she was involved in a really bad domestic violence situation before her and I got together. This man would beat her for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And because she wanted to get out of a situation, this man decided to throw her through a glass table. She lived through it. But one thing that she decided that she's not willing to allow another man to treat her in that way. And she had family that was trying to tell her that she needed to get away from the situation. But a lot of times we tend to overlook what people tell us, what we don't need to do. Because we think that people are just trying to tell us to get away from people because they don't like them. It's not that we don't like the person. It's because we see what that person is about. We see that that person has their own agendas, and they're trying to isolate you to do harm to you. And if they're trying to isolate you from family and from friends, man, y'all got to start paying attention. There are people out here who are vindictive. There are people out here who are controlling. And you got people out here that will try to control everything that is you. They will sit there, they will try to tell you what you can't do, how you can't handle it. You're not strong enough to handle it. You won't be anything without me. You can't make it without me. You need my finances to make it. Man, but my thing is, man, you can do anything God puts your heart and mind to. If God puts you at task to do something and God gives you the opening to get away from this toxic situation, because that's all it is, a toxic situation. If you feel that you're being emotionally abused, psychologically abused, spiritually abused, physically abused, you need to get out of that situation. You need to get away from that person, because then that becomes a situation where it makes you want to do harm to yourself. Because you stop loving yourself. Because you don't see the best for yourself anymore. You've been
living for that person.
Even if you got kids with that person, your kids get the wrong idea about what love really is. Because if you got boys start to think that that's what men are supposed to do, is abuse a woman. If you have girls, the girls think that that's what a woman is supposed to take from a man, is that in order for her to see what a man is all about, that she needs to take whatever this man is willing to dish out to her. Man, that's totally false, man. We have to stop giving ourselves up to this type of poison. And we bring our kids into a poisonous situation. And then kids latch on to what they see adults do. Hence, what we're going through today with our children. Because now, sometimes the females are the aggressors. Sometimes the guys are the aggressors. Females out here shooting females. Females out here shooting males. Males out here shooting females. But my thing is, everything comes full circle. It's because they watch these type of things take place. And nobody tells them that this is wrong. We have to take a grip of what we see. We have to start taking accountability for what goes on. Men, I challenge you to become better. Women, I challenge you to become better. I challenge you to become better. How? By trusting God. That's first and foremost. Trust God with everything. Secondly, trust yourself. Women, you have something that a lot of men don't have. Women, you have intuition. You have that gut feeling. When you feel that something is going wrong, sometimes you have to follow that gut feeling until somebody can prove you wrong, that feeling is wrong. But if you have a gut feeling that there's something wrong, 9 times out of 10, there's something wrong. So women, you have no what we have no you have what we call mother wit. And men, we don't have that. Like, so men, we have know-how. We know how to deal with a situation when it happens. No, we know how to take control when we need to take control. But women, you have this thing where you have intuition, where you can feel something is about to happen or something's coming up that doesn't feel right, and so a lot of times, and you try to call us on it, and we know a lot of times we don't listen because we know we want to learn, we want to find out when it happens, and we deal with it when it happens. That's not how you all deal with things, though. You all follow your gut instinct, and it takes you away from a lot of bad situations. Sometimes, just sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, you talk yourself into a bad situation. Why would I say you talk yourself into a bad situation? Because a lot of times you know that certain things are bad for you, but yet you talk yourself into believing that it's not going to be bad for you. Oh, so guys, we have to learn how to become better leaders in our homes. Meaning that we have to lead by example. We have to become more providers for our family, more protectors of our family. I was raised in a family full of women. A family full of women. Now, that is the hardest thing to ever grow into, a family full of women. Why? Because these women would tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why you shouldn't do it. But the thing is that they weren't always wrong, but they got on my nerve because I got tired of listening to it. But at the end of the day, I made me a better man. They made me a better man because they taught me how to treat a woman. Have I always been the best? No, I haven't. Because everything that I've learned up until this present time, I've learned from experience. I've learned who I am. I learned how to be a better man. I learned how to be a better friend. I learned how to be a better communicator. I may not always talk all the time about certain things that's bothering me because sometimes I internalize things. Because that's who I am. That's made into my fabric. That's who I am. I internalize things before I actually bring it out because I don't want to blow up, and take it out on the wrong people. I internalize how to deal with a situation. Because if I speak before I act, or if I act before I speak, or I don't think about it, it could turn out to be a bad situation. And I don't ever want to become one of those men who thinks that I'm always right, because I know I'm not always right. I haven't always been right. I was surrounded with some great women in my life, and it's even some great men who made sure that I understood that you have to lead by example. You have to be that man. You have to be that father. You have to be that husband. You have to be everything that your family needs for you to be. Because even your kids, even though you want to be a friend to your kids, but you have to be a parent first. Ladies, listen to me. Thank you, Holy Spirit. It's time that you all start listening to what God has for you. Hear that voice of God. God is going to take you down a certain avenue. I don't know what that avenue is for your life. God is about to take you down a certain avenue. And whatever that avenue leads, God wants you to follow. But you must know that it's the voice of God, because Satan has a way of speaking to you as well, because Satan knows your desire just as well as God does. But you have to know God for yourself. You have to know God's voice for yourself, where God's going to lead you. But you also should know that God would never lead you anywhere that he doesn't want you to go. You may not be in the best situation, but maybe, just maybe, it's the best situation right now, because God has something greater in store. But God wants us to learn how to be patient in the situation that we're in until he can take us to a greater situation. But do not settle. Listen to me. Do not settle for a man or a female who all they want to do is control you, to abuse you, to psychologically batter you, to make you feel like you're nobody. You don't ever have to accept that from anybody. You don't ever have to accept that from anybody. Anybody who makes you feel like you're less of a person, you need to let that person roll. Let them go. Why? Is because one thing that I realize is that certain people will drag you down with them. If you don't want better for your life, baby, you won't get better. You're going to get worse.
True. Very true.
You have to learn how to forgive a person, regardless of how long it's been. Regardless of how long it's been. I don't care who the person is. I don't care what they've done. You have to forgive that person. Not for them, but it's for you. Why do you say it's for you? Man, when you forgive that person, it frees you up from the bondage of hurt. It frees you up from that bondage of hate. It frees you up from that bondage of self-loathing. Because you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna loathe the person to the point where you actually want to do harm to that person and do harm to yourself because of what that person did to you or what that person said to you. Because now it's getting to the point where it's that even when you see your abuser, you're not gonna want to do anything to that person. The only thing that you can do is say that the worst thing that you want to sit there and say to that person is God bless you. And I wish the best for you. That's only when you've loved yourself enough to free yourself from that bondage. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself wanting to do something to that person because of what they did to you in your past. Which means that you haven't moved on from your past. If you're living in your past, ladies and gents, let your past go. Don't allow your past to hinder your future. I'm going to say that one more time. Don't allow your past to hinder your future. We have too many things going on in our lives. Somebody could have almost lost their life. Somebody almost lost their life for whatever reason, whatever happened in your life. Somebody's hating on you. And you're sitting around and you're holding on to that person hating on you and the toxicity that this person brings to you. Man, you got to let that person go. Forgive that person so you can move forward. Everybody ain't out to get you. But when you see that toxic person that has tried to drag you down in your past, man, laugh at them. Let them know, man, I'm free. I've moved on. I'm happy now. Let that person go. Because if you keep holding on to what that person did, what that person said, how the person said it, why they said it, it's going to tear you up from the inside out. And you ain't going to be no good to nobody, not even yourself. You're not going to be able to go into a job and be able to see the best in people because you're still looking at the hate that you got for somebody else. It's time to let it go, people. It's time to let it go. But as we begin to wrap up this segment on domestic violence, we're not going to end it tonight about domestic violence because we have to continue. We have to keep this going one more week. Talk about domestic violence and how to get out of it. So we're going to end this segment on tonight. But we want you to understand is that God loves you and that God wants the best for you. But in parting, as we always say, life is but a vapor. Here 1 minute and gone the next, which becomes the story of life. Man, you have to begin to start loving and enjoying life. Don't allow the hurts of your past to drag you down. You got to start learning to forgive people. Forgive them so that you can begin to move on and be able to heal and become a better person. And have a loving heart where you can love people freely without feeling that there's conditions attached to it. Man, we love y'all, man. And we want the best for y'all. But man, in part, man, but again, man, we look forward to seeing you on next week. Again, next week, if you've been involved in domestic violence, we want you all to call in on next week. We want you to have this discussion with us on next week. And we're going to post the number again, 708-223-8953 on next week. Call in and tell us your story. We want to be able to share our love and how we can help you make it past it. But until next week, man, from Colossal, love you, man. Peace. Holla.
And what will you say, yeah, when the blind begins to see and the deaf begins to hear again? Come on, y'all. And what will you say, my God, will, when your home was gone foreclosed because the banks, they just would not extend? But then the Lord, He moved the heart of man, and now your home belongs to you again. Lord, everybody say, I'm so glad you came to rescue me.
I'm so glad you came to rescue me.
I'm so glad you came to rescue me.
I'm so glad you came to rescue me.